I won't bother you with too many of the details, but just a few words on Nordic cooperation in general and cultural cooperation specifically. We've been peacefully cooperating the last 200 years or so. We actually invented cross-border passportless travel some almost 60 years ago. But a strange thing happened when I slapped these slides together a couple of days ago. The word currency landed on top of Iceland. And I decided not to edit it, because this is a little bit about what this is about. Who is going to get them out of that mess? The other 4 countries, of course. I mean, we hate each other since 1,000 years, but we're family. And we know the need to band together. If you are not fairly big and strong, you need to seek support with other more or less like-minded people. So when we bunch together, we're actually 25 million people, and we'd like to hear our voice heard. If looking at the Nordic game market from that perspective, when you bunch it all together, we're a fairly important consumer market for games in the world. And we also buy a lot of games. We buy a lot of games and we play a lot of games. If we look at the Nordic game developers, they're good at what they do. They have, well, I don't know. I don't know if you have the same prejudice about Nordic people that I have, but we do feel that we deliver on time, do quality stuff, manage to bring some sort of design values into the stuff that we do. And I would say that this is true also for Nordic game developers on the global markets. They have that sort of reputation, and they have a reputation to live up to. And they are actually all Nordic countries, all 5 of them, are net exporters of computer and video games. And still, going on in the same vein, if you bunch us together, where do we land? This is done by Develop Magazine. I think it was late last year or so, a rating of all top 50 studios from their perspective in Europe. When you bunch all the 5 Nordic countries together, we take 2nd spot. So we sort of count, we know what we're doing, there's a lot of money involved. So, of course, there must be a lot of nice Nordic games out there available for the Nordic audience, right? Let's see at the political background. Why am I standing here talking to you about this? Half of the books that are published in Sweden each year are by Swedish authors. 40%, at least a couple of years ago, of the music sold retail in Sweden is by Swedish artists. They're not necessarily singing in Swedish, but still, 40%. Swedish films pull down about 1/4 of all box office, all cinema ticket sales in Sweden, while they constitute a smaller share of the whole offering. Well, of course, it comes into this issue that a Swedish film has a greater need to recoup the investment in Sweden only. We'll get back to that. So, if we know that games are a growing, more and more important media for our young, what would be a reasonable figure here, do you think? How many percent? Any guesses? Not 1. Almost 1. If you included reissues, budget reissues of last year's and the year before last's games, yes, then you reach a 1% point.